On the top of my head, we will begin this video with this design. This formation, okay, is automatic when you're adding a disruption. The disruption is the space of one. What one does. When one fills in the gap, when one controls the air that flows, one. What one does, configuring the connection between two different areas. Do you see the wall that's up here? This wall is because this one is over here and then this block. This block constitute 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a block of 9 where this area, okay, becomes the next block inside of here. That's why it's designed this way. Do you notice the way this center area is combined to this side and combined to this side? So it's a half area. So let's consider all areas being valued at half because it's split between these two sides. So if we give it a whole area, right? If we give it a whole value, okay, that means this and this, or this and this. That means 1 and 1, that the minimum would be 2. If we gave it a half, the minimum would be half, but 1 is what divides. It takes 2 to really create a 1 because this is the half note. Which way do we want to look at this? Okay, so we take this one this way, and then we're going to design this one over here. And then we're going to do the same thing we did over here. See the same design? It's the same design on the inside, right? This side and the bottom. And now what we're going to do is we're going to double up over here. Since we doubled up there, we're going to double up there too. And now we have the exact same thing. If you want to say 1 and 4, if you want to actually say 1 and 4, I brought my calculator. If you want to actually say 1 and 4, I'll go over to 1 and up to 4. I'll go over 1, okay, and up to 3 or up to 2. But I cannot go over 1. So if I have 160 something, how can I get 160 something? There is no 160. So 160 in the reverse of 9 is now 130. Do you understand? 6 is 1 above 5. So anywhere we go from 5, the maximum is 4. 5 to 9 is 4. So if we have 154, okay, if we have 154, I have to either be going minus 1 or plus 1, 6 to 5, and over to 4. 6, 5, 9, because that's a distance of 4. So 1 and 4 is the understanding of movement, side to side. 1 and 4. These are the only two 1 and 4s. This is the only two 1 and 2. Here's another 1 and 2. Here's a 2 move. Here's a 2 move. Here's a 2 move. But here's a 4 move. These two are the only 4 moves. Do you have any other 4 moves? Look at that. 2 to 6 is another 4 move. 5 to 9, 1 to 4. But look at the position they're in. This one is in the center. So what number would we devote to it? This is all based on what numbers we would devote to it. So this is the basic design. Do you see this over here? See the way it creates its own box, the whole 4 of them, and the empty space? Almost looks like don't drive too fast because if you're turning right, okay? If you're turning right, you're turning left, you're turning right. So this is the separation, the obligation of the sizes I must take in order to get to the top, right? In this scenario over here, okay, I put this angle down here. If we tilt this one over to this way, if I tilt this one over to that way, right, tilt this one over this way, I create a Z. If I tilt it over to this way, this one over this way, I create an N. Turn this one this way, I create the Z. To the right, it gives me N, this angle. To the left, it gives me Z. The N letter is the 14th letter in the alphabet. It also creates DNA as for regular name. 1 times 4, 1 plus 4, 1 minus 4, 1 divided by 4 works. We have to find perfect numbers, quarters, things that are dividable that fit into something else. I don't want to find any fractions, so we're not going to use divided. I minus the 4, I get 3. I add the 4, I get 5. 4 times 5 times 3 equals to the 60, plus equals to 72, minus equals to 48, equals to the sun. S-U-N. It also equals to girl. It also is a representation of Pluto. When I put a plus, I just mean do the calculation. This will create the freezing point. This will make creation. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 plus 4 is 12, equals to 44 area space, or 20, because there are 4 spaces of 20. Also noted for the numbers 420. 2 times 7 is 14, and we'll recreate 1 and 4. 4 times 3, 3 times 5. The multiple sector will give me 32, 42, 47. 47 is the number for time. It shows me what time is. Time is 72 minus 12. Plus 12 equals to 84, and that's Pluto. See, if we're showing 1, 8, we've created one world. The invisible 8 is right over here, the reflections of each other. Here is the shadow below into the waters. The shadow to the side, pending what time it is. So this is this scenario. Now, when we go to Z, the value of Z is 26. 2 times 6, 2 plus 6 is 12 and 8. Representing of the purple ball. And number 5, because 1 times 2, 1 plus 2 equals to 3 and 2 communication, beta communication. And 8, 5 and 8 says he. It is also 3 and 8. 3 and 8, right, which is 1.5 times, and everything is 1.5 times, right, 8. And this is actually 12, right, but it's 1.5 times 8, representing Mars, or a passage. This one becomes 3 and 8, also represents the church and the DNA of the sun, the IT system. 2 times 6, 2 plus 6, 2 minus 6 equals 8 and 4, Pluto. And 12, 4 and 12 are the purple ball connecting the 88 skies. 12 times 8 is 96, times 4, 384. Guess what? The Hebrew leap year is 384 days. 38 the church, 84 Pluto, 43 DC. 4 times 8 is 32 times 3. It's 96 plus 15, 111. The top story of the Twin Towers. Not the 110th floor, but the 111th, equal to the roof, or the antenna, or the way out of the room. Remember, when you go up to the roof, there's a little hut. You just don't go through a trap door onto the roof, but on top of the roof. Remember that this will create almost the stories. Will show you levels when I start designing it this way. And this is on the roof, the heliopad, the area space. Remember, although we're landing in one area space, we take up the whole entire space. What is the minimum of space required? What is the minimum of space required by a fine line for area space? We need to, what are these? This is the minimum I need per side because of this design. See, in this design, I started with 4 areas. Here I start with a single area. If I have this size here and this side here, right, I would have to put 1 here and 1 here in order to have the complete replica would be this size in order to get 1 inside. This is 1, this is 4. The center area, which is 50 in darts, takes up 4 parts to create that 50 because it's on the greatest diameter, and that equals a circle. This is not the greatest diameter equaling to circle. This would be. So that's why I choose this one to represent my circle. See the 315? It takes away the corner without touching the center, without touching the center, without touching the center, without moving the clock. Ting, 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 ting. 2 parts of a clock on each side. What 7 does, and the reason for connecting 3 because of this part over here, right? We cannot do anything, okay, unless we have 2. 2 can be divided, right? But when you have 3, you have something in between everything. On the cross, this is what your representation of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's your 3, but when it's 2, okay, when it's 2, 1, boom. Okay, this cannot be done. The only way to do it when it's 2, it becomes well, I don't know if I should have did 1 space or 2 spaces, right? But I'm going 2 by here, 2 by here, 1 high. Questionable because we're splitting these zones. I end up with 5 on this side. I end up with 9 in the house. Is that the way it's done? Yeah, so I had to do 2 of them. So I end up with 5 over here. Okay, I end up with 9 in the house. Over here, okay, is 6. Over here is 6. 6 and 9 are both in the house. And then on the next house, connecting the next house, okay, 6, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 9, 6, 6, 9, 9, 6. And underneath here is 8, 8, 8, 8. And this is how we connect it with 5 on the outside of each one of these. The only one that's connected in the house is 6, 9, and 5, according to this. Does this work for you? Can you calculate things? Well, this is coordinate space. You see, here's a single space on the line, dividing each side. Here's the single cube. Here's not. This is 2. This is 1. Here's 2 finding the center. Here's 1. I need to create an X. Barnyard doors have X's. So if we can understand this, we can understand more. And a friend of mine said, I was speaking to a friend, we were talking about whale. And she says to me, female or male? I said whale. The difference is 23 and 8, 15 and 31. Alternate current. In arts and entertainment on Mars, 6 F. F, W, creation, creation of heaven, the BC world, Venus, Earth, world, equals 1646, the spirit of the half-life. 1.5 times 4 is 6, spirit of the half-life. 30, creation, into the queen's house of the dog, the freezing point. We are born into the house of Gel, Mary Magdalene, Leg. So this is the video I wanted to make. There was one more piece on here that I wanted to talk about. And it's time, 3:14 and 3:15, because of pi, 5 hours, 14 minutes, 514, the one spirit of the IT system. We talk about 314 minutes, 3 hours, 14 minutes. This would be 900 birth, because if I add 720 to this, it's 900. I add 720 to this, it's 900, 900. So 5 stands for birth, the 5 hours. 5 hours times 6 is 300. Right? 300, 0 equals 6, because that's what happens. Once you get 300, you get automatic both sides. Either you're in the mirror or you're not in the mirror. If you're in front of the mirror, you have a reflection. 14 minutes. 14 minutes, 840 Pluto. 900 birth. Because in every minute is 60 seconds. 900, 840. Pluto and the leap year, in the Hebrew leap year, 384. 720 plus 14. 734, the DC world, 73, the cube, 7428 cycle in the moon. 114 is equal to Jesus Christ. 74, 72 is time in the beta world, 74. The alternative to abortion is gay and lesbianism. That's what I was looking at on the radio today. When you go, you must start. When you stop, you must end. You must end what you started. You were stopped, now you're going. You go, now you stop. So these all have to come together. Raphael, 7286. And understanding, we can give these numbers. Everything gets numbers and shapes. We take this to another level. What are we doing? We're going to understand this world. We're going to understand that 4, okay, that equals to an average of 5, tells 4 is 1.25 the value each. 288 times 1.25, okay, equals to 360 degrees, because whatever's turning around is turning around 360 degrees for whatever the add-on is on the outside. This turns 300, this turns 360. It's a length. The length is 120 times 3. 2 ends and the center bridge that connects them together. Are the ends shorter? Is the bridge shorter? I give you the average. Raphael 7286, coming to you from the House of Paint. Thank you for watching the video.